On Sunday, Republican Governor Chris Sununu said something extremely stupid.
One of the criticisms and the concerns is that he has billions of dollars tied up in government contracts. You don't see a conflict of interest here?
Everyone has a conflict of interest
But
at
that's
some
like
level.
a pretty big one.
The guy's worth $450 billion as of today and this month. So I don't think he's doing it for the money. He's doing it for the bigger project and the bigger vision of America. He doesn't need the dollars. He really doesn't. So it's not about, oh, if I get involved in this, I'll get another little contract here or there. That's nothing to him. So I like the fact that he's, in a way, he's so rich, he's so removed from the potential financial influence of it.
And there we have it. The dumbest take I believe I have ever seen. Oh, yeah, man, this guy's so rich, he couldn't possibly be corrupt. Really? You don't become a billionaire unless you're kind of corrupt in the first place. Unless you have stepped over people or have exploited someone or something, you generally don't become a billionaire, okay? And look, you could just go through the laundry list. Jeff Bezos is a great example, right? Screwing over people with Amazon, subcontracting, terrible work conditions, et cetera, et cetera. You do not become a billionaire without stepping on someone, all right? That's the problem. That's the problem. But anyway, let's go over this, right? This whole idea from Sununu. The guy who gave millions of dollars to elect Donald Trump, Elon Musk, to become president, now co-chairs a committee that is tasked with coming up with ideas to cut the government. And this guy's like, he couldn't possibly use that position to benefit himself because he's too wealthy. What? That is beyond stupid. Okay, it's so incredibly dumb and naive. Okay, in what world does Chris Sununu live in? All right, I mean, let me put it plainly. Okay, and answer that question. There is no world in which a wealthy man, an extremely wealthy billionaire, says, you know what? I've actually got enough money. I will no longer seek more out. Does not happen. Does not happen. No. At the end of the day, like when you hoard excessive wealth, it becomes a goal unto itself. Okay. No longer, when you are that wealthy, are you looking for things like, I'm gonna build a business and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it for the betterment of humanity. I'm gonna do it for this. I'm gonna do it for that. I'm gonna take care of my material needs and help my community, help my country. No, it's not about that. It is about this. The sole driving force when you get to that amount of wealth is, how do I get more wealth? That's it. You don't need it, but it becomes this goal of like, I must have more. I must create a bigger mountain for me to live on. That's it. That's it. And so they're going to keep doing that. And our system makes it incredibly easy to continue to hoard wealth and become disconnected. Now, getting to the conflict of interest, what exactly are they? Well, first off, his company, SpaceX, one of the many companies he has received billions of dollars in contracts from NASA and the Department of Defense to launch satellites, service the International Space Station, or use Starlink satellite communication network. So that, by the way, is now you've got world leaders that are like, ooh, Starlink. I'm actually kind of interested in that now. Are you interested in currying favor? That's another byproduct of wealth. People want to curry favor. Now, over the past decade, these SpaceX contracts came in at more than $15 billion, according to the New York Times. It's a lot of money right there, but it's not all of it. Last year alone, Musk companies actually signed 100 different contracts with 17 different federal agencies totaling $3 billion. So now we've got tens of billions of dollars already. All right. And then you want to add in a huge moneymaker for Musk, the carbon credits. Tesla is able to sell carbon credits to other car makers. And they made a ton of money. I mean, just a killing. In the last quarter of 2023, for example, they sold $1.9 billion in these carbon credits. And in 2024, sold $2.1 billion worth, of these credits, bringing in total earnings from such credits since 2009 to over $11 billion. It might actually be more. And I don't know what quarter in 2024 that $2.1 billion was. So, but when it comes down to it, nearly half, around 43% of the company's profits came from these carbon credits. So, in fact, the first few years, Tesla was, well, they were in the red. They were not making profits. They were not profitable. If they didn't have those carbon credits that they could sell, then, well, they probably would have went under. Never would have survived without those credits. So he owes a lot of his fortune to government, to the taxpayer, ironically. And how's he going to repay us and the government? By telling Donald Trump to gut Social Security, Medicare. Yeah, that's what he's doing. So now, aside the fact that the government and public investment made Musk rich, they've also tried to hold him accountable, and he don't like that. Okay, there's some issues that he's having with federal agencies. For example, an investigation by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission led to charges of securities fraud back in 2018. And actually, he was forced to step down as Tesla's chairman as part of a later settlement. And that's not all. In total, Musk is waging at least 11 separate regulatory or legal battles with the Biden administration or independent federal agencies related to his sprawling business empire, according to a tally by NBC News. These 11 ongoing battles, which involve 7 different government entities, touch on a wider range of subjects from unions to vehicle safety to privacy and the social media app X. So, yeah. I mean, the whole, Tesla driverless, autonomous car thing, not going so well for him. And of course, overselling the idea that, oh, no, yeah, no, they're driverless. They'll drive themselves. Not really. Not without crashing into things or people. Or people. Or just catching on fire randomly. That's another issue with their cars. And of course, unions. I mean, Elon Musk famously not for workers' rights. As I mentioned in another video, he says, I don't like unions because it sets up a situation where you have, landowners and serfs, basically. What? No, it's a complete opposite of a feudal system. It's a system where actually people can get together and bargain with you, the boss, for better wages and working conditions. But as I said, he don't like that. He don't like that at all. Now, that said, prior to the election, Richard Pierce, a law professor at George Washington University, specializing in government regulation, put out one of the reasons that Elon Musk, despite, again, making a lot of money from government and government contracts and, green energy, electric vehicles, why would he back Donald Trump? He says, quote, he would be in much less trouble in a Trump administration because Trump shares his hostility to regulation and regulators. And there you go. And look, it's that along with him being radicalized by having a transgender daughter, that led him to being where we as a country are in a political system are currently at, with a billionaire in charge, assembling a billionaire's cabinet. But look, Elon Musk is not an innovator. He's not a genius. He's just nothing more than a capitalist that has been very successful at building this mythos around him, which makes him a lot like Donald Trump in that regard. Okay, but what could Elon actually do, since he's not going to be technically part of the government, right? Well, he still could use his money and his influence to influence regulators who might, want to look at closer at Tesla's self-driving push, which has not been very successful as so far. He could also convince those in power to keep those emission rules in place that allow Tesla to keep selling those carbon credits, which have been very, very successful for him. Now, that said, that is something that Donald Trump was against. He did not like those carbon credits. But we're going to have to see what happens, right? Now that Elon has ingratiated himself in that inner circle. I mean, at the end of the day, if Elon is successful at making those investigations of his companies go away, then, well, that would be a gigantic win for him. Okay. Yes, it would really illustrate the corruption in our government, but hey, it'd be a win for him, at least. So this idea that you could be too wealthy to be corrupt, and that's not really about money, is both hilarious and naive, as this is all about money. This is all about power, right? So that said, I do think Sununu and other Republicans, and even some Democrats, obviously, think this way. Okay, that no, you can be so, you can have so much money, and that will shield you from corruption. What? These people tend to, fight against the idea that we should get rid of lobbying and against, and political donations, because they don't think that's corruption. No, what are you talking about? Not the appearance of corruption. What are you talking about? Either that or they benefit from it. When, of course, in reality, objective reality, everyone who is outside of that bubble, who is not getting paid off, they see it and know it for what it is. And that is corruption, and that is why we have to ultimately get money out of politics. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.